Hey guys, Papa Joe here. First thing I want to talk about today is spinning reels and maybe compare two similar size reels. You know, there are some differences in spinning reels that are advertised as far as the amount of bearings, uh, type of gears, has somewhat to do with how much you pay for a reel. But the real fact about a spinning reel is all those different types of ball bearings and things that are advertised make very little difference when you compare to spinning reels. They really do. Uh, I have a reel here that has 10 bearings. I have a reel here that has 3 bearings. Both of these reels are approximately 10 years old. I couldn't begin to tell you how many fish they've caught, how many of my customers over the years have used them. And so there's so very little difference, it's hard to notice. The thing that I guess makes the biggest difference is maybe the type of gear. This reel, for instance, has a round gear, and this reel has an oval gear. Now, if you take a look at the amount of distance that the spool travels up and down on the piston, you will find that both reels make 5 turns to get from top to bottom. So where does the oval gear come in? The oval gear comes in because the spools, this particular spool is 5/8 of an inch tall, and this particular spool is 3/4 of an inch tall. So we make 5 turns to go 3/4 of an inch in this reel, and we make 5 turns to go 5/8 of an inch in this reel. So the angle that the line rolls onto the spool is slightly different. After using both reels for all this time, I notice very little distance. In casting, very little difference in the reels at all. The thing that may make the most difference is the type of line that you use and the pound test that you use. Now, I normally fish a 12-pound test on my spinning reels when I'm using monofilament. When I'm using a braided line, I can use the 20 or 30-pound test that has approximately the same diameter as the 12-pound test. And so that may make the biggest difference to you depending on the type of line that you can use. Now, with 10 years use, I've put virtually no maintenance into these reels at all. The only thing that I do, I don't recommend hosing them off, trying to clean them up, grease them, all of that. Every time I change a spool or change line on the reel, I clean off the piston, I spray some Reel Magic on the base of the piston here and spin the reel. I turn it upside down where it turns here, and I spray some Real Magic in there, and then spin it, disconnect the handle, and put just a small little shot in the handle. And that's it. No other maintenance whatsoever on this reel or this one in, let's say, the past 10 years. And so that's basically the difference in these spinning reels. Now, to get the maximum cast and the least amount of line twist, then it makes a difference how the line goes on the spool. If we spool the line first of all, you got to put them together with the parts they were made with. Now, if you have trouble with the drag, it has nothing to do with the reel, because all the drags are in the spool, and it just depends on how much you tighten this that allows this spool to spin. And while I'm saying that, I want to tell you, and I always told customers this for the 20-some years that I guided trips here in South Louisiana, was not to reel while the drag is going out, because you can hear the drag. Now that's hard for some people to do when they get excited and they get a fish on. But if you're reeling this way and the drag is going out, you're getting line twist. And after they catch that fish, or after you catch that fish, you're going to have to take the bait off and run it behind the boat and get the line twist out. Then I'm going to take the monofilament line, and I've used all the lines, all the brand name lines over the years. The extra limp is the best for the spinning reel. All that tough, abrasive stuff has more memory than the extra limp. And so if you're going to put line on a spinning reel, then you want to use the extra limp. Now, I'm just going to make a loop knot in this line. You'll notice my fingers may not work as good as they did one time in the past. And I'm going to cut this tag end off pretty close. And then we're going to hook up this reel to the rod. The other thing I like to do when I change spools is to also loosen the reel on the rod. Maybe take it off, put it back on, because the longer periods of time, even though this is plastic, it will bind sometimes. Gets a little salt in it, or for whatever reason it may have some bind in it. And so now I'm going to flip this bail, and I'm going to take this line and just put it through the loop. And I know that the reel turns this way, so I'm going to take that line and put it on so that's the way it tightens up on the spool. And so I'll put that on there, flip the bail, tighten that up, and I'll be able to reel the line onto the spool. And so I'm going to hold the line over the spool, and I'm going to turn until I see a twist. Once I see that twist, I know that this side of the spool has to go up. And so with a pen or a piece of tape or something to put on there, you'll know for the future just how that line, see the way it's getting tangled. Now that little bit of tangle is not going to hurt me way down there in the line, but it will and should not twist now. So I should be able to spool the line without line twist. If I would spool it the other way, right now it would be all tangled up. And so I know that it's going on without any twist, and I'll be able to use the reel, tie the lure on, use the reel when I go back fishing. Now we want to leave about 1/8 of an inch between the line and the lip of the spool. Notice it didn't all twist when it came undone. And so now my line is spooled, but I gotta put it so it doesn't go backwards. And then we can take the line, put it through the line keeper on the spool, and we'll be ready to go without any twist in the line. I hope this segment was helpful to you. Maybe it'll help stop some of the problems you have when you're out fishing, make it a little more enjoyable. Try and fish without the line twist, and maybe catch a few more fish. If you enjoyed what you saw, learned a little bit, give me a thumbs up, and please hit the subscribe button. Till then, tight lines.